Ahoy, friends. Seeing as it's Halloween and I haven't done a spooky video this year because I'm pretty busy with classes and animation takes a while and all that other fun stuff that I've been doing, like this kind of stuff. I thought I would do a video in this kind of format. So I found a quick Victorian story that allowed a little bit of spook to your Halloween. So, let's go. A long, spindly truss bridge was constructed to cross the River Tay on the North British Railways line through Dundee, Scotland. Engineer Thomas Bouch was responsible for the construction of this extremely long bridge, which at one point was the longest in the world. It consisted of a bunch of high girder spans, which are approximately 10 stories tall, and within 19 months it would become one of the most severe structural failures in the British Isles. And much like the RMS Titanic or the Hindenburg airship, it would shake the opinion of the public on engineers to its very core. In December of 1879, the North British Railway sent their engine number 244, which was a 440 locomotive, pretty typical 1870s looking thing. It earned itself the nickname of the Diver, pretty gruesome, for an incident that happened later on. So it was called out to take a mail train after a previous engine had failed. Guessing it was the injector. Injectors are the work of Satan. You can't trust them as far as y'all can throw them. And at 7:13 p.m., the bridge that the train was crossing managed to collapse in the high wind. They're still determining why exactly this happened. Some say it was Thomas Bouch's design. Some say it was the workmanship of building the bridge. Nobody really knows. All we know is that the bridge collapsed as the train was midway across, and it fell about 10 stories. Intriguingly, though, as those Victorian engineers still wanted their engine back from the sea after it had fallen that extreme height into the ocean, not long after, a few rescue attempts were made by the North British to get number 244 back. The first time, they picked it up using some type of floating crane, I believe, and the chains broke, and they ended up dropping it again. And then the next time, they came prepared with better chain, but the winching mechanism broke, and so they got it out of the water, and then that's as far as they were able to move it. And for about a week, they just sort of had it sitting alongside the coast of the River Tay until they were able to take it back to the workshops at Cowlairs. And, for these people, it was just a scratch. It could buff out. They transported the engine on its own wheels after it had fallen off that. It was fine afterwards. And in fact, it was in use up until World War I, although understandably a lot of drivers didn't like it too much because, it's a little bit cursed that it came off the bridge, But anyways, all was well in the end. There's a new bridge across there, and they found 40 of the 60 bodies, which is most of them, objectively. The Victorians are weird. Now, here's the scary part of this whole affair, though. If you look up worst poet in human history, the first result is usually William McGonagall. And when I looked it up, Dougal Drummond popped up too. I didn't know he wrote poems, but he apparently did. Anyways, William McGonagall wrote a poem about the Tay Bridge disaster. And it's really bad. It's awful. It's an awful poem. And we're gonna read it. Quick pretense. Good poetry is about conveying an idea or a feeling in a very particular sort of way. Poetry is very open-ended. This is not that. This is what poetry would be if you didn't know what poetry was. Let's go. Beautiful railway bridge of the Silvery Tay. Alas, I am very sorry to say. This guy likes to force rhymes, and it's fascinating. that 90 lives have been taken away on the last Sabbath day of 1879, which will be remembered for a very long time. 'Twas about 7 o'clock at night, and the wind it blew with all its might, and the rain came pouring down, and the dark clouds seemed to frown, as the demon of the air seemed to say, "I'll blow down the bridge of Tay." This guy's subtle. You watch this guy. When the train left Edinburgh, the passengers' hearts were light and felt no sorrow, but Boreas blew a terrific gale, which made their hearts for to quail, and many of the passengers with fear did say, I hope God will send us safe across the bridge of Tay." Interesting. But when the train came near to Wormit Bay, Boreas he did loud and angry bray, and shook the central girders of the bridge of Tay on the last Sabbath day of 1879, which will be remembered forever. Using that same structure. So the train sped on with all its might, and bonny Dundee soon hove in sight, and the passengers' hearts felt light, thinking they would enjoy themselves on the New Year, with their friends at home they'd loved most dear, and wish them all a happy year. So the train moved slowly along the bridge of Tay until it was about midway. Then the central girders with a crash gave way, and down went the train and passengers into the Tay. The storm fiend did loudly bray, because 90 lives had been taken away on the last Sabbath day of 1879, which will be remembered for a very long time. I can't do this. Solution. Anytime the word Tay comes up, I have to take a sip of Dr. Pepper. This should make things more interesting. As soon as the catastrophe came to be known, the alarm from mouth to mouth was blown, and the cry rang out all over the town, "Good heavens, the bridge is blown down," and passenger train from Edinburgh, which filled the people's hearts with sorrow and made them for to turn pale, because none of the passengers say to tell the tale how the disaster happened on the last Sabbath day of 1879, which will be remembered for a very long time. It must have been an awful sight to witness in the dusky moonlight, while the storm fiend did laugh and angry did bray along the railway bridge of the Silvery Tay. Oh, ill-fated bridge of the Silvery Tay. I missed one there, hang on. I must now conclude my lay by telling the world fearlessly without the least dismay that your central girdles would not have given way. At least many sensible men do say, had they been supported on each side with buttresses. At least many sensible men confess, for the stronger we our houses do build, the less chance we have of being killed. Okay. I like how in those last two lines in that last stanza they actually tried to have a point. Well, that's all I got. Yeah.
He haunts the station, he haunts the hill, and the land that lies between. Together, now I got myself together.